Adult Solutions. Add-on Desire.
Hello viewers, welcome to Adult Solutions Daily Current Affairs. I am Lokesh Penugunda. This session is designed mainly for aspirants preparing for banking, groups and such other competitive examinations. We cover news articles from both The Hindu and The Indian Express. Make a use of it. So, we have a news article from The Hindu talking about the Archaeological Survey of India or the ASI. So, what is the objective and what is the main function of Archaeological Survey of India? The main objective of this organization is to provide archaeological research and protection of cultural heritage of the nation. So, what are the two major objectives? First is for providing archaeological research and next is the protection of cultural heritage. Also, you should note that more than 3,600 ancient monuments, archaeological sites and other places of national importance are administered by this organization. So, this organization also administers nearly 3,600 of these types of monuments. And when is this organization established? In the year 1861. So, this was founded by someone called as Alexander Cunningham. After founding the Archaeological Survey of India, has become the first director general of this Archaeological Survey of India. So, Mr. Alexander Cunningham is widely considered as the father of the Indian archaeology. Father of Indian archaeology. And currently this organization is working under the control of Ministry of Culture. So, these are various related details regarding the Archaeological Survey of India. Next is an article talking about the double mutant strain. So, what is mutant virus or bacteria? Is talking about the mutation or alteration of the DNA. So, if the DNA of the virus of the bacteria have been changed, have been altered, then it is called as mutation or a mutant. And in India, we have observed for the first time there has been a double mutation in the COVID-19 virus. So, this double mutation of the COVID-19 virus have been named. This is the name given for the double mutation, that is B.1.617. Next is we have an article where the Biden administration has restored the aid to the Palestine. Where is Palestine? Palestine is part of this Israeli territories, where you see that Israel is the red area, whereas the Palestine. Next, we have an article talking about the Biden administration restoring the aid to Palestine. So, where is the territory of Palestine? In this image, you can see that there is territories of West Bank and territories of Gaza Strip. So, these two territories combinedly comes under the Palestine state, and Palestine state or the country have been only recognized. It is only recognized as a official or a sovereign country, by only 138 of the 193 UN member countries. So, what we observe here is nearly 45-50 countries are not giving the status of a country to the Palestine. And you can see where the Palestine territories are lying. It is lying near to the Israeli territories. And you have to remember the territories of the Palestinians. First is Gaza Strip and next is the West Bank. Even in this article, we can see the West Bank and the Gaza Strip clearly being mentioned. Next, in the map, you can see some green areas and some white areas. So, whichever countries are marked in the green category, these countries alone has recognized Palestine as a separate entity, as a separate country, whereas the Western countries and the Western European countries have not recognized the Palestine as a separate country or a entity. And also you should note that the Palestine is not a full-fledged member in the United Nations. It has only given non-member observer status in the United Nations General Assembly from the year 2012. So even in the United Nations, it is not given a permanent country status or a permanent member status. Next is we have an article talking about the African swine fever. So what is the African swine fever? It is a contagious, severe viral disease. This disease mainly affect the wild and domestic pigs. So this virus will only and will mainly affect the pigs population which are both wild and domestic, and this disease has been suspected to be seen in the Mizoram state of India. So what is the characteristic of the African swine fever? Whenever the African swine fever is seen in a pig, then it will show high fever and it will die mostly, and there is a case fatality rate of 100%, nearly 100%. So what does case fatality rate talking about? If there is a case fatality rate of 40%, then of the 100 people or the 100 animals which are infected by this disease, 40 will die. So in the African swine fever, there is a case fatality rate of nearly 100. Nearly all the animals which are infected by this disease will die. So this is a serious disease and would have a serious impact on the pig farms of various countries and various states. Next is we have an article where the weightlifters are planning to attend the Asian Weightlifting Championship. In the image you can see that this weightlifting championship is scheduled for year 2020 at Tashkent, which is the capital of Uzbekistan. But due to the COVID pandemic, it was delayed, and this 2020 weightlifting championship has been delayed and postponed to 2021 April. And this is a qualifier match for the Tokyo Olympics. So the weightlifters have to win in this Asian Weightlifting Championship so as to become eligible for the Tokyo Olympics, which will happen in Japan this year. So what you need to remember is that this Asian Weightlifting Championship is scheduled to be happening in the Tashkent at Uzbekistan this year. Next is we have an article where there is a discussion of possible Japanese Prime Minister visiting India in the coming up days. So who is the present Japanese Prime Minister? It is Mr. Yoshihide Suga. he succeeded the Japanese PM Shinzo Abe, who resigned due to medical conditions. And after becoming the Prime Minister, Mr. Suga has never visited India, so this will be his first ever visit to India. And as we are talking about Japan, we need to understand something else which is in the newspapers recently. So there is news articles which are talking about the Kuril Island dispute between the Japan and Russia. In the image you can see that these are some islands which are being claimed by both the Russia and the Japan, and in this image you can see that the Japan government is claiming islands up to this region which include the Kuril Islands, whereas the Russian government, which is having the control of all these islands, are claiming this belongs to Russia and we have the sovereign rights over this region. The dispute goes back to the year 1945, in which the Japan government has was losing the World War II, and the USSR forces has occupied these islands from the Japan, and since 1945 these islands are being controlled by Russia whereas being claimed by Japan. So Kuril Islands dispute is between Japan and USSR or the Russia for now. Next we can see the image of Japan, where the Sea of Japan is differentiating the regions of Russia, North Korea and South Korea with Japan. So which are the countries which share a maritime border with Japan? These are Russia, North Korea and South Korea. There is an idea that even China shares a maritime dispute or a maritime border with Japan. This is not true because China does not have any maritime border with the Japan in this particular case. Next is we have an article talking about the Sagar Doctrine. So what does Sagar stands for? It stands for security and growth for all in the region. Sagar stands for security and growth for all in the region. So SAGAR. So what is the objective of bringing in a Sagar Doctrine? This doctrine, which was brought in by the NDA government in the year 2015, has a major objective of deepening or increasing the economic and military cooperation with India's maritime bordering countries. So there are countries which share border with India in the maritime region, and also there are countries which are part of the Indian Ocean region. So to increase the economic and military cooperation between these countries, Indian government has brought in the Sagar Doctrine, and we have seen yesterday how the Indian government has gifted fast patrol boats to Seychelles. So even this is a part of the Sagar Doctrine, where we are deepening our military cooperation with Seychelles. Apart from Seychelles, we have already gifted military equipment and other goods to countries such as Maldives, Comoros, Mauritius. Next is we have an article talking about the Asian Development Bank. Next we have an article where it is stated that the Asian Development Bank has approved loan worth $484 million to improve the connectivity between the Chennai and the Kanyakumari Industrial Corridor. As we have an article which is dealing with the Asian Development Bank, we'll see the background and the objectives of the Asian Development Bank. So, Asian Development Bank is a regional development bank. It was started in the year 1966 and it is headquartered at Manila, which is the capital of Philippines. So, what was the major objective of setting up the Asian Development Bank? It is to promote social and economic development. So, to promote social and economic development in the member countries, this Asian Development Bank will provide loans. So, what are the member countries of the Asian Development Bank? Currently, it has 68 member countries, out of which 49 are from Asia. So, if there is an option which is stating that all the Asian Development Bank members are from Asia, then it will be wrong, because not only it have members from Asian continent, but also it have members from other continents as well. So, who are the largest shareholders of this bank? First is Japan, next is USA, next is China, fourth is India, fifth is Australia. Japan and USA have nearly 15.3% stake each, whereas the China have a stake of nearly 6.4%, India nearly 6.2%, Australia nearly 5.8%. So, Japan and USA are the largest shareholders of this Asian Development Bank, which is headquartered at Manila of the Philippines. Next, we have an article where we can see that the fertilizer company has hiked the fertilizer prices. So, this article is talking about IFFCO, which stands for Indian Farmers Fertilizers Cooperative Limited. So, you can see clearly that this is a cooperative limited and it is a large scale fertilizer cooperative federation of India, and it is registered as a multi-state cooperative society. So, there are many cooperatives which have become part of the IFFCO, and you should note that the members or the cooperatives of this organization not only have business interests in the fertilizer industry, but also they have diverse business interests ranging from general insurance to rural telecom. So, many cooperatives has come together to become members of this IFFCO organization, and the members or the cooperatives are not only focused on producing and supplying the fertilizer, but also they have various business interests ranging from general insurance to the rural telecom sector. IFFCO is one of the largest multi-state cooperative society in India, and it is headquartered at Delhi. So, these are various aspects that you need to remember from the examination point of view. And with this, we have come to the end of this session. Inform about this ADOTS initiative to your other aspirant friends. Thank you.
Add-on solutions. Add-on desires.